will welcome Senator Kennedy providing color commentary throughout my question.
I will be happy to. If we ever finish this hearing this year.
And I'll point out Senator Kennedy has a new book about testing negative for stupid, so I hope I test negative for stupid. I hope I meet the threshold of
You
your
do
book
meet
title.
it, and I talk in the book about the tattoo of the Backstreet Boys on your back.
Look, I can't help that you don't want to reach young people. I think young people are the future, damn it, and I'll do whatever steps are needed.
Backstreet Boys?
That would be on Vice President Vance's playlist, I heard, that got hacked.
General Bondi, welcome. I apologize for injecting you in the middle of Senator Kennedy's antics. We can't help him. Thank you for the job you're doing. You are doing a tremendous job keeping this country safe. And our families are safer because you are on that wall. Our families are safer because you are returning the Department of Justice to its core function, which is enforcing the law and locking up bad guys. We saw for 4 years, under the Biden administration, we saw the Department of Justice politicized and weaponized, and we saw them refuse to do their core function. More than 12 million illegal aliens flooded into this country, and the Biden Justice Department seemed to think its job was letting murderers and gangbangers and rapists go. And the results in just a few months that you've been able to produce are tremendous. Arrests of violent criminals are up 125% since the Biden administration. Fentanyl trafficking prosecutions have risen 42% since fiscal year 2023. DOJ has coordinated with DHS to remove over 220,000 criminal illegal aliens this year alone. Under your leadership as Attorney General, you have helped rescue 4,000 children from predators and helped arrest 1,300 child predators and 285 human traffickers. In my home state of Texas, Operation Soteria Shield resulted in the rescue of 109 children. Thank you, Attorney General Bondi. Texans are safer because you are serving. Americans are safer because you are serving. You have a big task, cleaning up the messes of the Biden DOJ. One of the most egregious failures of the Biden Justice Department was its refusal to protect judges and Supreme Court justices. As you know, in May of 2022, an unknown individual leaked to Politico the draft of the Supreme Court's decision in Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization, the opinion that finally overturned Roe versus Wade. That leak was a crime. It was a theft of government property under 18 U.S.C. Section 641, and it was an unauthorized disclosure of confidential information under 18 U.S.C. Section 1905. General Bondi, do you agree that leaking that opinion was a criminal act?
Senator, I can't discuss anything regarding that matter. That should answer your question.
Well, I will say this. The leak occurred in 2022, so the 5-year statute of limitations has not expired.
If you care about truth, justice, and the safety of your family, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. It helps us fight back against the censorship and media spin that too often bury stories like this.
And I'm going to ask you, if it is not happening already, to direct the FBI to investigate and find the leaker. The leaker has not been exposed, the leaker has not been identified, and the FBI has far greater investigatory tools at its disposal than does the Marshal Service. And when it comes to defending the rule of law, when it comes to the integrity of our court system, having partisan law clerks, and I believe in all likelihood it is a law clerk who leaked it, leaking opinions designed to try to pressure the court politically is a gross subversion of the integrity of the court. And so I would ask you as Attorney General to direct the FBI to use every resource possible to investigate, to find the leaker, and when you identify the leaker, to prosecute the leaker for that criminal conduct.
Thank you, Senator Cruz.
All right, I want to turn, secondly, after that decision was leaked. I believe the leak was part of a broader effort to intimidate and to threaten and harass justices into trying to get them to change their decision. And we saw mobs assemble outside the homes of multiple justices. Do you agree, General, that the mobs that came outside the homes of justices were there to intimidate the court and to try to influence the justice's decision?
100%.
Well, as you know, federal law, in particular 18 U.S.C. Section 1507, makes it a crime to picket or parade outside a judge's home, quote, with the intent of influencing that judge's decision. That statute is crystal clear. And I will point out, these protests happened in 2022. So just like the leak, the 5-year statute of limitations has not expired on these protests. But unfortunately, the Biden Department of Justice didn't give a damn about prosecuting this statute because President Biden and Merrick Garland and the political hacks at DOJ disagreed with the Supreme Court's decision in Dobbs and were perfectly fine turning a blind eye to violent protesters threatening the justices and their children. You may recall I questioned Attorney General Garland about this statute, and he admitted under oath that not a single protester had been prosecuted. And he blamed the Marshal Service. He said the problem was the marshals, quote, didn't make arrests. Well, subsequent documents told a different story. Internal training materials obtained reveals that the marshals were explicitly instructed not to arrest protesters under Section 1507. So the reason there was no arrest is because a political decision was made that we like what the protesters are protesting for, and we, the Department of Justice, are not going to protect the safety of justices. We're going to allow them to be victims of an intimidation and threatening campaign. Just as I asked you with regard to the Dobbs opinion, I would ask you to direct the FBI to review the footage of these protests, to review the evidence that exists in terms of who engaged in it, and will you commit that anyone who you can prove violated 18 U.S.C. Section 1507 will face consequences and face prosecution?
Senator, we currently have 63 ongoing investigations involving judges and officials throughout this country. That scene that you're showing will not happen under my watch. It will not happen under Donald Trump's presidency. It doesn't matter if you're a liberal judge or a conservative judge or justice. That will not happen.
Amen. And that point that General Bondi made is very important. I would be equally outraged if you had nuts in front of the liberal justices. I'd say arrest them and throw them in jail. Violence is unacceptable, regardless of whether I agree or disagree with your politics. And violence, particularly fueled by rhetoric by irresponsible politicians, violence can result. And tragically, it resulted in one deranged individual traveling from California to Maryland with the intention of murdering Justice Brett Kavanaugh. As you know well, this deranged individual was arrested outside the justice's house. He was arrested with a kill kit. He was arrested with a gun, with handcuffs, with duct tape, with zip ties, and with the intention of murdering Justice Kavanaugh, very possibly murdering Justice Kavanaugh's wife and 2 daughters, and potentially murdering 2 other Supreme Court justices.
Senator Ronald.
As you know, just this week, a left-wing Biden-appointed judge sentenced this attempted murderer, this attempted assassin, to just 8 years. The Department of Justice asked for 30 years.
That's right.
And that judge downward departed by 22 years. Why? because this left-wing judge said that the attempted murderer was transgender. And because he identifies as transgender, apparently it's okay to try to kill a Supreme Court justice if your politics are sufficiently woke. Now, I know you have said the Department of Justice is going to appeal, and you absolutely should. I called this week, I believe this judge should be impeached because the judge has demonstrated she is completely unfit to be a federal judge. And what is your view of the justice of this sentence of just 8 years for the attempted murder of a Supreme Court justice?
I was speaking with our prosecutor, Ms. Mao, who did an incredible job on this case. She did an incredible job. And yet, this judge gave 8 years. And the judge also would not refer to the defendant by his biological name, referred to him by the pronouns, and was concerned about the treatment that this individual would get regarding a sex change while in prison. And we are appealing that sentence. I immediately said we are appealing that sentence.
Thank you.
But my prosecutors did an incredible job on that case.
And the judge wanted to put him in a women's prison.
Before Senator.
Not going to happen, excuse me, I'm sorry, Chairman. That's not going to happen in the Bureau of Prisons now.
Before Senator.
What we just heard was a perfect snapshot of the difference between two visions for America. One that believes in law and order, accountability, and fairness, and another that too often puts politics above justice. When you hear the facts laid out, the arrests up by over 125%, fentanyl prosecutions rising 42%, thousands of children rescued from predators, that's not rhetoric. That's what happens when leadership takes law enforcement seriously again. For years, the Department of Justice seemed more interested in pursuing political opponents than protecting the American people. We saw violent criminals released, illegal immigration soar beyond 12 million entries, and a justice system that appeared to bend over backwards to accommodate activists rather than victims. And the result? Cities more dangerous, communities more divided, and citizens less confident that the system works for them. Now, the discussion of the Supreme Court leak is especially revealing. The idea that someone within the system, very likely a law clerk, leaked a draft opinion to influence public pressure on the court shows how deep the rot of politicization has gone. Leaking a court opinion is not whistleblowing. It's sabotage. It was a deliberate attempt to intimidate and manipulate the judicial process. And under any honest administration, that would have been treated as a criminal act. But during that period, silence. No arrests. No accountability. Because the political outcome mattered more to those in power than the rule of law itself. Then came the protests outside the homes of justices. Let's be clear, that wasn't peaceful dissent. Federal law explicitly prohibits picketing outside a judge's home to influence a decision. It's black and white. Yet, under the Biden Department of Justice, not one protester was prosecuted. Why? Because the protests served a political narrative. The same people who lecture about defending democracy were fine with mobs intimidating judges and their families as long as it was in service of a cause they supported. Attorney General Pam Bondi's statement that such scenes will not happen under her watch is exactly the kind of leadership Americans have been craving. Law and order cannot be partisan. It should not matter if a judge is liberal or conservative. Threats, violence, and intimidation have no place in our justice system. When the law is enforced selectively, justice itself begins to decay. The most chilling part of all this might be the case involving the attempted assassination of a Supreme Court justice. A man traveled across the country with a gun, duct tape, and zip ties, intending to murder Justice Brett Kavanaugh and his family. Yet a Biden-appointed judge gave him only 8 years, despite prosecutors asking for 30. Why? Because the defendant identified as transgender. Think about that. The personal identity of a would-be assassin was treated as a mitigating factor in sentencing. That's not justice. That's ideology overriding common sense. This is where the Democratic Party has lost its way. It's not that every Democrat is corrupt or malicious. Many genuinely want to do good, but the leadership has allowed a culture of ideological blindness to replace moral clarity. Instead of standing for equal justice, They bend the law to suit politics. Instead of defending institutions, they weaponize them. And when you politicize justice, you destroy the foundation of trust that holds this nation together. The message that came through in that hearing is simple but powerful. America is safer, stronger, and freer when we enforce the law without fear or favor. That means no double standards, not for politicians, not for protesters, not for anyone. Whether you agree with the Supreme Court's decisions or not, threatening judges or leaking opinions to influence outcomes is dangerous. It undermines democracy itself. The truth is, restoring justice in this country will take more than one attorney general or one administration. It's going to take citizens, people like you and me, demanding integrity from those in power. We can't be silent when our laws are ignored or twisted for politics. We can't accept leniency for the violent because of ideology or identity. And we certainly can't allow those sworn to uphold justice to use it as a weapon against their own citizens. So if you believe America deserves better leadership, better accountability, and a justice system that truly serves the people, stay with us. Like, share, and subscribe. Because the fight for truth and fairness isn't just happening in Washington. It's happening right here, every time we speak up,